If you set up Google Ads conversion tracking using a tutorial from 2024 or 2025, there's a good chance it's broken. Google changed the interface, and if your consent setup isn't right, your conversion data isn't reaching Google at all. This is the 2026 version. I'll show you what's actually changed, how to set it up correctly with the new interface, and how to verify if it's actually working. Let's get into it. If you've watched other tutorials and felt lost because your screen doesn't match theirs, you're not imagining it. Google has changed a lot over the past year. First, the Google Ads interface looks completely different. Buttons have moved, some options are hidden now. Second, Google is pushing hard for you to connect through Google Analytics 4 instead of Tag Manager. For some accounts, the Use Google Tag Manager option doesn't even show up anymore. Lastly, this is the most important one. Consent mode is no longer optional. If you're getting traffic from Europe, the UK, California, or a growing list of other places, and your consent management isn't set up right, Google won't count your conversions. You'll see zeros in your dashboard even when people are actually converting. I'll walk you through the full setup. By the end, you'll have conversion tracking set up and working properly. Older tutorials are now outdated. Some will simply show you an interface that doesn't exist anymore. For example, where user-provided data used to be when setting up enhanced conversions. Let me show you what it actually looks like now. In Google Ads, click Goals. Scroll down to create conversion action. Conversions on the website and select calls. In our case, we select Submit Lead Form and set up manually using code. Conversion name, Google Ads-lead. Don't use a value. Count 1, save, and continue. Instead of copying my event snippet, I'll set up the Google tag first. Click Set up Google tag. Select Install manually. Copy the tiny part starting with AW. Head to GTM. Click New. We'll name it Google Tag. Click Tag Configuration. Select Google Tag. Copy the tag ID in that field. Leave initialization to all pages and save. Now we'll head back to our Google Ads account. Go on the tab Use Google Tag Manager and copy the conversion ID that shows right there. Before, I was just tagging the site with Google Ads. If you've set up conversion tracking before and you're seeing an error that says Google Tag not found in this container, this is why. You need this Google Tag in place. Once you add it, that error goes away. Now, we'll track the conversion action. This is where the tracking actually happens. Miss a step here and Google Ads will never know when someone converts. We go back to GTM and create a tag called Google Ads-lead. Click New Tag Configuration and select Google Ads Conversion Tracking from the right menu. I'll copy that conversion ID. Then I'll head back to Google Ads and copy the conversion label. Now we scroll down to the triggering part. We'll select what event will trigger the conversion. In our case, we'll use the contact form submitted. That's the conversion that's triggered in my site. You can check in your case through the preview on GTM what the conversion action for you would be. We save it, and now the event will fire when someone submits the lead form. Again, don't forget that none of this will work if you don't already have the Google tag in place. Like I said, your tracking is set up. But here's the reality, you're not capturing everything. Browsers can block cookies, users can switch devices, and when that happens, some conversions just don't get recorded. Enhanced conversions help recover some of that. When someone converts, you send Google a piece of information they already gave you, usually their email address. Google encrypts it and matches it to signed-in users. Conversions you would have lost get counted. We head to GTM and click Preview on the website. Tag isn't connected, that's what we need. Then we go back to see all the events that are firing there. Our Google tag is there, that's good. Our Google Ads conversion event hasn't fired yet because we didn't submit a form. So everything is working as it's supposed to. So I'll head back to my preview and perform a conversion event to check what the name of my email variable is and if it is being pushed to the data layer. I'm going to use a test here. Doesn't really matter what I insert here. Then I hit send. A conversion action should fire. Now I should go back to GTM and check if it fired correctly. So on the right tab, I look for the conversion event, contact form submitted. I see a contact form submitted here on the API call. Click to expand, and I see that this event contains a set of variables I need, such as my email address, and that's the variable I want to create. I'll copy the name of this variable before the semicolon. So user underscore email, that's the name of the variable that I want to grab. So I'll head back to Google Tag Manager, click Variables, click New, Data Layer dash Email, click Configuration, select Data Layer Variable, user underscore email. Now I go back to tags, and that's where I will set up the enhanced conversion. Now pay attention to this. Enhanced conversions used to be done inside the conversion tag of Google Ads. But as of this year, it's not anymore. You may still see it there if you've already had the Google Ads tag configured. There was an option inside the tag where you could check user-provided data. That doesn't exist anymore. But if you're configuring it now, it should be on this interface that I'm showing you. So now it's a specific tag for enhanced conversions. You click New, Tag Configuration, Google Ads User Provided Data event. I'll name it User Provided Data. So here on User Provided Data, I'll select the variable. Click here and select New Variable. I'll select the mail, but as you can see, there are tons of things you can use. In my case, only the email is enough. I'll call it the email variable. Now I need my conversion ID again. So I'll head back to my Google Ads account and copy the conversion ID. I'll just paste it there. And we need to select the triggering. In our case, contact form submitted. So you make sure you're capturing the email when you should. Hit save, and you're done. As we mentioned earlier, when consent isn't granted, Google can't measure conversions in the usual way, so reporting can become less complete. That can create gaps in your conversion data. If you want to understand what that gap could look like for your business, we offer a free ROAS calculator. You enter your ad spend and it estimates the potential revenue impact of unmeasured conversions. It takes about 30 seconds and the link is in the description. Enhanced conversions can help you recover part of this missing visibility, but for many businesses in 2026, there's another, often larger, measurement gap that most tutorials still don't address. Most tutorials end right about now. They tell you tracking is set up, you're good to go. But then you check your Google Ads dashboard a week later and you see almost no conversions. You know people are converting. So where's the data? If you have visitors from Europe, the UK, California, or other places with privacy laws, you need a consent banner. That's not the problem. The problem is your banner isn't talking to Google. When someone clicks on your banner, Google doesn't automatically know. Without that signal, Google assumes they said no. And if Google thinks they said no, it won't count the conversion. Google Consent Mode connects your consent banner with Google. It passes consent signals whether consent was granted or denied. So Google knows how to handle measurement. Without it, conversion data can appear incomplete or inaccurate. What you need is a consent banner that's properly integrated with Google Consent Mode. User-Centrics is Google certified to support the setup, helping you display the banner and pass the required consent signals correctly. I'll link the setup guide in the description. Quick note, there is a basic mode and advanced mode. Basic means Google gets nothing until someone accepts. Advanced means Google can model some data even before consent. So you don't lose everything from visitors who ignore the banner. If you want better data, use advanced. Now, you've done all this work. I want to share a quick extra tip that some people might miss when they're starting out. Setting up the conversion linker tag. If you don't set it up, it might be that your conversion tag doesn't associate the conversion with the original ad click. So if you're setting the Google Ads from the outset, we also need to add a tag that is very simple called conversion linker tag. Click New, Tag Configuration, select Conversion Linker from the side menu, select Triggering for initialization of all pages, and hit Save. just that, and it will improve the conversion attribution. So that's how you set up Google Ads conversion tracking with the Tag Manager in 2026 with the new interface and consent mode built in. But here's the thing. Even with all of this set up correctly, browser blocking and ad blockers can still prevent you from seeing some of your data. The next level is server-side tagging, where tracking runs on your server instead of the browser. It's faster, more accurate, and way harder to block. We made this video right here, breaking down exactly how server-side tagging works and why it's the future of tracking. See you there.